Welcome to 2010 CSCA annual meeting. And here, the guest in front of me is Lisa Wagner from University of Cincinnati. So, hello Lisa, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm fine, I'm doing well, thank you. So, talking about your responsibility in the UC's teaching, or what is your research area or expertise first?
Good, okay. Well, like she said, my name is Lisa Wagner. I'm a visiting assistant professor in the Department of Communication, and this is my second year at UC.
Wow.
I'm from Cincinnati.
Exciting.
And do like Cincinnati a lot.
Wow, thank you.
Let's see. Okay. I teach Introduction to Mass Communication, Gender and New Media, Media and Culture, as well as Communication and Popular Culture. These very much reflect my research interests, which are in media studies, in particular new media studies. I approach the study of media from a critical cultural point of view, and I also incorporate a lot of gender studies, gender and sexuality studies, identity, and adolescent culture. So culture in terms of gender, adolescence, and identity.
Okay, sounds terrific. For today, you are the presenter of the gendered game section, right?
Yes.
So talk about your presentation, please.
Okay, well, for our presentation, some colleagues from Ohio University, where my PhD, where I'm earning my PhD currently, we decided to look at video games, in particular video games in handheld devices, as well as video games like Nintendo video games for children. And we also decided to approach the analysis of video games from a gender perspective. And so what our presentation, our roundtable was on, was a multiperspectival approach to gendered video games. Multiperspectival being a critical cultural approach to studying media, looking at political economy, which is the production context of industry, sort of all the things that go into the making of the video game or the making of the media text, as well as into the receiving of the text. Multiperspectival also includes textual analysis, which is just dissecting and describing and working with the text itself, so therefore the video game itself. And finally, audience reception studies, which looks at how the audience are receiving and using and consuming and participating with the video games. So we looked at video games and video games for girls through all three different lenses.
Okay, sounds very interesting to work with kids, right? Especially girls.
Yes.
So, is that Is this research based on your long-term research, as you did before? Because I noticed that you already released some papers talking about use like the adolescents. Say the media use and the popular culture. So what's the new findings about this research? I mean, compared to previous research.
Well, this current research and this roundtable discussion very much is an extension of my research interests, which involve popular media, gender, as well as identity, and the ways in which popular media, gender, identity all are influenced and very much need to be adaptable within current cultural climate. I have done presentations and studied adolescents, teenage girls. My dissertation's on teenage girls' identity and MySpace, or social networking sites. And really what I look at is how the girls themselves are adapting and living within this new social media context. Basically, girls and all adolescents, as well as adults, we need to adapt to this constant media image society and context in which we live. So your question was, what are the interesting findings here?
Yeah.
I would say interesting findings are that although the media that we use is changing, although the media that we use is targeting different audiences and being more inclusive and more diverse, we're still working within very well entrenched ideologies that dictate sort of a patriarchal kind of experience and privilege, masculinity. Even though we've got games that are being constructed for girls and marketed towards girls, and even though we have media that is supposed to attract girls, it's still very much reflective of these masculine ideologies.
Okay, sounds very professional. Yeah, so based on your findings, so what is your implications, like based on your research, like your suggestion, maybe the future research or the influence for the industry? Do you have?
Well, I think Nancy brought up a lot of good points with her discussion on the characters and character availability, as well as an audience member talked with me afterwards about how although we have these games for girls and those games for girls don't fit into the popular games and what's popular.
Yeah.
Popular games are more masculine, and so she identified that there's a lack of female protagonists in popular games. And so perhaps if we were incorporating more female protagonists in popular games, it would be more socially acceptable for women to be protagonists and active participants in their life.
Very impressive. Sounds very significant research. Yeah, good luck for your research.
Thank you.
And also the last one is that you work as the chair of this section as the gendered games.
Yes.
So I just want maybe you can give us an overview about the whole panel or like the other researchers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as a chair, basically what my role is to get a bunch of my friends who have similar research interests and find a way in which those all overlap in a way that we could make a cohesive panel.
Yeah.
And so my friend Nancy Jennings, who will be next, Nancy Jennings very much is interested in children and media and the ways in which children use media and how media influences children. So it was a typical, beyond television, which is where she starts looking, her study of video games is just an extension of television and children and media. And the other presenter, Beth Novak and Janie Henderson. Janie wasn't here today, but Beth Novak was. She looks at the construction of video games. And so she would lend a different perspective, but very much a valuable perspective to looking at video games designed for girls.
Thank you very much for your introduction. Thank you. And congratulations to your presentations for today.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Bye.